And I had a line that probably went 30 yards of kids waiting to just buy these one record from one little crate.
It's like, he got me into records and got my whole family involved.
They are highly sought after commerce. Because of things like this, because of some of these other binders you see here, like the coins, these are all things that kids can buy only with a positive cause.
Hello and welcome to the Supercast. I'm your host, Superintendent Anthony Godfrey. It is a fun way to recognize and reward good deeds at West Hills Middle School, and it has become a big hit. On this episode of the Supercast, find out why a local vinyl record shop has established a presence with a pop-up shop inside West Hills Middle School, creating a nostalgic vibe and rewarding students for positive behavior. We're here with David Sherwood now to talk about your involvement with this store to help motivate students. Thanks for joining us.
It's good to be here. We've been a longtime supporter and we're so excited to be here today. So
I think it's so cool that you're doing this. Now, I have purchased records from you.
I was going to say, you look familiar.
There are some 12-inch 80 singles that I was pretty excited to get at some of those daybreak sales. It's amazing to me the collection of records that I found as I was crate digging, going through those boxes and boxes of records.
I feel like there's something for everybody if you dig deep enough.
There is. There absolutely is. Tell me about how you got involved and how you and the broader vinyl-loving community has been a part of this.
So I've been collecting records since I was a teenager, back before it was cool. But now the past 4 years have been doing this as a business. So during the pandemic, I was a travel agent, and the pandemic just kind of wrecked us. And so we're like, we need to do something to make money. We started selling records. And the way we got involved in all this is my mom is actually a first grade teacher in your school district.
Wow, where does she teach?
Ridgeview Elementary. She's a first grade teacher.
That's awesome.
Linda Sherwood.
That's our K through 3 school now that just has those 4 grades.
And so the thing that got us started, though, was my mom actually a couple years ago went through cancer. And while going through this, our group of record collectors rallied behind it. And they wanted to do something to give back to the community. So it started with, we partnered with Primary Children's, and we decided to donate and do some fundraisers for Primary Children's. And then that evolved into, we had extra records that were we met Tim, and he's like, we started this store in our school. It would be fun to put those records up for the kids. So that's kind of how all of it came about.
I love that, and it's really exciting that the record-loving community, and it's a great community. I've been part of a record-loving community for a very long time, but just the fact that you pulled other people from outside of the school that want to help and want to support and want to do something is really remarkable. I always say that, as the superintendent, I'm supposed to be supportive of students. I'm supposed to be supportive of employees, but when people go out of their way to contribute and to really support students at being at their best, that means the world, and it's really a different kind of support that has a really, really big impact.
Yeah, and it's so funny, our group is so, they're the most amazing people, kind-hearted. We actually have to hold them back because they wanted to donate more than we could handle. So we have to pace ourselves so Tim doesn't get overwhelmed here at the school. So
we love that. And the exciting thing for me is that not only do students try to be at their best at school because of the motivations that you and the community have provided, but also they start to love records and they connect with each other and that broader community as well.
Yeah, and I think Tim is a perfect example of somebody who supports the music community. The reason I kind of got involved with Tim is I was one day at Costa Vida getting lunch. This girl behind the counter saw my Daybreak record shirt on, and she exclaimed loudly, "Do you know Tim Brooks?" And I was like, this is so weird. How does she know me?
Yeah.
And she said, I bought records from the record store at the school. And she's like, he got me into records and got my whole family involved. And she eventually came into our store in Sandy and ended up buying some records from us. So.
Well, I love that, and it does create a sense of community. And the shirt you're wearing with the samurai, explain the logo to me here.
So part of what we did is we actually flew to Japan and sourced records from Japan.
Wow.
So the records from Japan are higher quality, and people were loving them here in the U.S. So we went to 55 record stores in Japan.
Holy cow.
And shipped back
That's
almost
a
whole
Obi
pallet.
strips.
And you know the Obi, so
yeah.
I love that.
So you ship those pallets over?
Yeah, and because everybody wants something that's not around. So people in the U.S. want Japanese records. People in Japan want U.S. records. It's kind of funny like that. So
I see. That's very clever.
Yeah.
Well, you've really raised the awareness of vinyl and the pleasures of vinyl. You opened a store recently.
We did.
Out in Sandy. Talk to
So
us
we know
about
we're
that.
called Daybreak Records, but we're out in Sandy. So we got an opportunity out there. We couldn't turn down partnering with a friend of mine out there who has a bookstore.
Yeah.
So it's a combo book and record. And then we also do our weekly online things on Facebook. So we do a live record auction and then a buy it now post.
So where can people find the auction and the store?
So go to Daybreak Records on Facebook. It's a group. It's a lot of where our charity stuff is done too, so that's a fun one to join. And then out in Sandy, we have our store. It's in Union Square.
Fantastic. Which brings us to this huge collection of records that you and the group have donated, in addition to our assistant principal here, Tim Brooks.
I'm excited to be here. I can't wait for you guys to see the store.
Now, I have to tell you, the first record that caught my eye was not the very cool Beatles record, not the very cool Taylor Swift record, but the K-Tel Disco Rocket 2-record set. Now, I have bought K-Tel records from you.
Yeah.
I absolutely have. So 12-inch, 80 singles, but I've also bought K-Tel records because these are the ones that I saw on TV that I thought, if only I could afford the shipping and handling from Ronco to get this K-Tel record.
You should have done the penny deals they did back in the day.
I did.
You did?
Yes. and then the $9 record or cassette showed up the next
Exactly.
month,
Then
and
it
I
gets
thought,
you.
oh yeah, I was supposed to cancel this. What am I going to do with this Don Henley CD? I guess I'll listen to it. Hey, wait a minute, it's really good. I said CD. It was a cassette. I'm making myself sound younger than I am. But yeah, the thing about K-Tel records and greatest hits generally was, for me growing up, it was basically a bargain. I was thinking, how many hits can I get for $10 instead of all the dross that might be included on an album?
I love a compilation and greatest hits. Those are great for me. So
I love that. Some record collectors are a bit disdainful of the compilation, but
I'm not your average record collector. Neither is Tim. Tim has excellent taste.
And
Well,
let's-
I
and-
don't know about that.
and let's talk
You
with
mocked
Tim.
Like Glenn Yarborough.
I've also bought records from you,
Yeah, you
Tim,
did,
out
you did.
there
You
at
bought a
Daybreak
comedy record, I
in,
believe it
in
was.
subsequent years.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the store and why you set this up and how it works for students.
Well, that's a good question. About 5 or 6 years ago, one of my daughters asked for a record player for a Christmas gift, and she asked for an Abbey Road album. And at that time in my life, I had no records because I had sold them all away because I was into the CDs and then digital.
So you converted from vinyl all the way to CDs.
Yeah, and then I converted
Okay.
back because
Yeah.
once she got that record player on Christmas morning, I just started yearning for one myself. So I started buying records, and then I saw David across the street at the biannual Daybreak yard sales selling
Right.
records. I went over there and I bought a few and started accumulating my own collection, and then I would sometimes buy a better version of an album, and so I'd have two of the same record. I'm like, well, I need to get rid of this one. Why don't I do what David does? I'll just sell some records from my front yard.
Yeah.
So I did that, and it just kind of snowballed. When I used to work at Fort Harriman Middle School, we had a school store over there, and then again at Mountain Creek Middle School in South Jordan. And we would sell typical little trinkets and things to the kids, bracelets, pencil sharpeners, erasers, and fun stuff like that. And I thought, I got some records of my own collection I really don't want. I don't want to take them to the thrift store. That just hurts too much to donate them.
I cannot donate records.
No.
can't
So I brought
do
I brought one
I donate
crate.
my car before I donated records.
So I brought one crate to the school store and just put it out and see what the students wanted.
Yeah.
And I was asking 3 of the good behavior cards, the little cards for good behavior. I was asking 3 cards for records.
So you earn 3 cards.
And you could go buy a record if you wanted.
Yeah.
And they were junky old records, scratched, not very popular. And I had a line that probably went 30 yards of kids waiting to just buy this one record from one little crate. And I was like, this is awesome. Okay, they really like this. Next week we upped the price to 5 cards, and it tempered things down a little bit. I kind of did a little
Dynamic
supply and
pricing.
demand. Yes,
Yeah,
dynamic pricing.
okay.
And it just snowballed from there. And then I told David about that, and he said, I've got some old records, I'm not moving at all. And David has brought me crate after crate after crate after crate. I used to say he gave me hundreds of records. It's got to be in the thousands now. It's got to be in the thousands. I've done the math on it. 2,000 or 3,000 maybe.
I love
records.
that. It's such a great support.
Yeah. And so we sell them, and then here at the store, I have. You can buy, and I do a little. If you buy one, it costs 5 cards. If you buy 3, it goes 12. And I just go through the pricing of whether it's an LP, which is the 12-inch 33 1/3 records, or the smaller 45-inch 7-inch records.
This is such a
it's
physical, tactile, interpersonal sort of experience that's made possible through all these donations. Do any of the kids try to haggle?
Yes, and I say, sorry, dude. No, I'm good. I've got other people. I've already given you a screaming good deal on this.
That's awesome.
You know, and some of the things that as I've been thinking about this over the years, there's so many different things we teach about vinyl records. Like, you've got to be economical if you want to buy a mass amount and get them for cheaper. The history that's in all of these records, David donated about a year ago, probably about 20 or 30 vinyl records of poetry, just spoken narrations of poetry.
Yeah.
Put those in there. There's stuff about, patriotic music. I have some old records that are just dedicated to Civil War music. These records introduce the kids to something that they're not typically listening to on their portable electronic devices. There are genres in here they've never heard before, like opera or yacht rock.
Well, yacht rock. Yacht rock, that's a whole separate episode of
we need
the
to do that.
podcast.
Yeah.
Stay with us. When we come back, we'll have more on the big vinyl record comeback and how students at West Hills are lining up and going all in on vinyl records.
Never miss an episode of the Supercast by liking and subscribing on your favorite podcasting platform. Find transcripts for this episode and others at supercast.jordandistrict.org.
It's giving busy parents a little more peace of mind when it comes to their students getting to and from school. We're talking about Zonar MyView. It's a mobile app meant to enhance the school bus transportation experience for students and their families. The app allows parents to check on their child's school bus location and the estimated time of arrival at the bus stop each day for pickup and drop-off. If you want to join the thousands of parents already using the app, it's easy. All it takes is a few simple steps. First, download the Zonar MyView app from the App Store or Google Play. Then visit auxiliaryservices.jordandistrict.org/Zonar. That's where you'll find the school access code and directions on how to enter your student's unique ID and learn how to create an alert zone around your child's drop-off and pickup locations. Let the Zonar MyView app help you stay on top of things, knowing when a bus might be running a little late and when to get your kids going or head out to meet them at the bus stop. It's one more way for us to better connect with you.
So tell me, please tell me that people are choosing records based on the look
They are.
of the album cover.
A lot of times a student will buy a record and they'll say, I said, why are you buying this, Ellie? And she'll say, because it's a good looking cover.
Yes.
Or they'll say, I don't even have a record player, but I'm just going to put it up on my wall.
I love that. I've discovered so many bands just by saying, this album cover looks cool. In the 80s, I discovered the House Martins.
Yeah,
Because
I
I
thought
thought
of that awesome
the House
album.
Martins, how could a band sound that has the name the House Martins? And now I have every single note they've ever recorded.
Yeah. We'll often, and one other thing too that a lot of listeners might not know is, it used to be that 1 or 2 kids at a school would have a record player. There are so many kids who have record players now. It is a resurgence. There are tons of kids who buy the records because they know they have a way to play it at home. And like last month, which was Christmas time, I brought out some crate that was just Christmas-related records. And there were some kids who were going through that, but the other kids were going through and saying, I'm buying this Neil Diamond record or this Andy Williams record because my grandpa liked this music when he was younger.
Wow.
And I'm going to give it to my grandpa for a Christmas gift.
That's so
It was really, really cool. And one of the things I love about these is I'll talk with students, they'll come up to me and say, Mr. Brooks, what record should I get? And I say, well, what are you interested in? What genre? And we'll talk about that. And sometimes it'll be a particular artist that has great deep lyrical content, literary content in their lyrics.
Yeah.
And there's so much literary analysis available with these records.
And I think that's
very
an
educational.
important thing to talk with kids about, because interpreting works of art and getting the most out of a work of art shouldn't be reserved to the dusty classics. It
No.
ought to be, I don't know, something that students can they need the skills to interact in a meaningful way with
Yeah.
the pop culture they're going to be exposed to.
And they can relate to it.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
How do students earn these cards?
So
these good behavior cards.
Yep.
Tell me again what they're called.
At our school, we're
Positive
calling them
Paws.
positive paws.
Very nice.
Because we are the Wildcats and these are paws. We emphasize the three-pronged approach of our school, which is respect, responsibility, and safety. But I will often do this for anything. Like if the kids are playing with sporting equipment and they come back in and bring the sporting equipment that they borrowed, I'll give them a card. Teachers will circulate up and down the aisles. Students who are on task can receive a card. Actively and appropriately participating, get a card. Showing good effort in a class, showing improvement, all sorts of things like that. These cards have now become highly sought after commerce because of things like this, because of some of these other binders you see here, like the coins, the baseball cards, the Pokemon cards, the paper money. These are all things that kids can buy only with the positive paws. And one of the
Very
things we
nice.
do is, all right if I take a quick little tangent.
Yeah,
With
please.
some of the coins and the paper money, I will deliberately price them high. So I've got coins from all over the world. I found a coin dealer who gave me a screaming good deal on it.
Wow.
And I tell them that if they buy the coin, there's a price on the back of each coin, that if they buy the coin, if they fill out a little paper about that coin's history, I will give them a 50% refund on what they paid for the coin.
You've thought about every angle.
It's so much fun.
To
Because
make this the great experience.
we want to
for
suck them into
students.
learning. We want to suck them into learning.
That's awesome. Okay,
yep.
before the students come in,
Yes.
tell me one record that you wore out. You listened to it so much and you had to replace it because you'd listened to it so many times.
For me, it was Abbey Road, baby. The Beatles' Abbey Road.
Well done, sir.
Over and over and over. Side 2 is immortal. It's etched in my mind. I don't have to listen to it. I can just look at the record and I start hearing it in my mind.
It's so good.
Abbey
It's so
Road.
good. How about for you?
I mean, I'm a Beatles fan, and I think that's why Tim and I connected. But the other one for me was probably Pearl Jam 10. It's just the grunge era was my era. Like, that changed music and created alternate rock. And so for me, that was the one for me. So.
That album, that was a seismic shift in music. Like,
It
wait,
was.
music can do this and it can sound like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, love it. Great choices.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Let's talk to some students
Let's
as they
do
come
it.
in. You want Beatles records? What do you like about the Beatles?
I've listened to them since I was really young. I don't know, with my grandpa. We actually me and my friend bought 2 last week. We got, I can't remember which ones we got, but we got 2 of them and it was really cool.
Do you have a favorite Beatles song?
I Want to Hold Your Hand.
That's a great one. That is a great one, a classic. How about you two? I see your Taylor Swift shirt. Are you hoping for this Taylor Swift Red record?
Yeah.
Are you both fans? So the Taylor Swift, is that an auction or how can you get the Taylor Swift?
I'm pretty sure it's an auction.
Are there other records you've bought already that you've enjoyed from the store here?
Midnight Rain.
Midnight Rain. Is that on the new record?
It's in Midnights. It's one of her new
Oh, the
albums.
previous, not the most recent Poets one, but the one before. Very good. I like Mean. That's a good one. I mean, and Cruel Summer, but everyone likes that one. Nice shirt. Zoe, talk to me about what you think of this record store.
I really like it because there's like a lot of vintage ones and like ones that like collectors have, but they're like really cheap. So I like they're worth more than what I bought them for here.
Yeah,
And
it's
so-
great that people have donated them to make that possible.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of the records you've bought that you've been really excited about.
I have a couple Elvis ones. Those ones were those are probably one of my most worth a lot. And then I have Summery Olsmond. Those
Oh,
ones are
really?
nice. Yeah. I
Wow.
have Paper Roses. That one's
Yeah.
nice. I have like a bunch of other ones that have like cool cover art.
I love that you appreciate the older music and the cover art. Is that sometimes why you're interested in a record because of how the cover looks?
Yeah.
Tell me some of the things you've done to be able to earn the cards that allow you to buy some records.
Helped teachers around the classroom or picked up stuff outside.
Very cool. Well, keep it up and enjoy that great music. Hi, guys. Tell me about what you think of this record store.
It's great. There's some cool records in there, and it's a cool store.
I think it's pretty nice. I like how they have like a lot of records and how much there's like so many records to choose from.
Yeah,
and
a
how,
lot of
like,
options. I like the options.
Yeah, how any music taste, you can come here and you can just buy some records.
What are the records that have caught your eye? What are the ones you purchased?
I think it was like a Beach Boys one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I bought a Sublime one and one of the Taylor Swift ones.
A Sublime one?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm hoping to get that red Taylor Swift one right there. That's really the one that I've had my eye on for a while.
Yeah, it'll be a cool
That's
record.
good.
I've been saving up for that one.
Yeah.
There is something about listening to a record compared with listening to your phone, isn't there?
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Supercast. Remember, education is the most important thing you'll do today. We'll see you out there.